But the big drama comes to us. Why is Steve Smith trending? Yes. NFL Network former player Steve Smith.
Hey, Steve.
Went on his podcast a couple of days ago and criticized Broncos wide receiver Jerry Jeudy, who has had the last few days of being criticized. Mark Schlereth, Broncos legend, Hall of Famer, criticized Jerry Jeudy. And Steve Smith went on his podcast and said that Jerry Jeudy was a jag, which is just a guy, right? Okay,
the old Mayock term comes back.
Just a guy. So, before the game, Steve Smith was thinking about how he felt bad about the criticism of Jerry Jeudy, and he wanted to approach him to talk to him about it. And it didn't go how he thought it was going to go. So here's Steve Smith explaining how before the game I tried to go talk to Jerry Jeudy, and this is what happened.
A short while ago, Broncos wide receiver Jerry Jeudy was walking by, and Steve called out to him, and he got a different reaction.
I called out to him because on my podcast, Cut to It, I just talked about guys that maybe have not showed up in the way or in the manner. And so the word that I've used to describe him in the past was a jag, just a guy.
Just a guy.
And so when I saw him, he's playing well. I wanted to say to him face to face, like, hey, I know I said some things in the past I probably shouldn't have, and I'm sorry. That's what I wanted to say to him. His response, Mike Robb and Bucky, was ninja.
Ninja?
Yes, I'm using the word ninja. I'm just using the word ninja. I don't mess with you. And it was a curse word. And so I was like, all right. And then he repeated it. So I'll say it again. I'm sorry that I said you were a jag, just a guy who's an average wide receiver they use a first-round pick on that isn't doing anything. I hope today that you actually show up in a way that you haven't showed up in the last couple of years since they drafted you. So if you ever got a problem with Agent 89, I'm sorry for saying that you're an average wide receiver, that they eventually will move on. And when teams call me and asking, should they trade for you, I will say no, don't trade for Jerry Jeudy, because he's mentally unable to handle constructive criticism from people who watch specifically, can he be a wide receiver? He could be a wide receiver. He's a tier 3. Go back into the studio. I'm done now. Thank you.
So I'm throwing it back to the studio.
That way he literally dropped his microphone.
Smith was done.
Yeah.
Boy, he just murdered. Speaking of murders, he just murders Jerry Jeudy. Now, I'm pretty sure I know what he means when he said, I'm using the word ninja.
Oh, well, I think we can all. We're all fairly intelligent people.
So Steve Smith just goes on to obliterate Jerry Jeudy, who has not played well. He's not played like a big first round pick.
He's WR 64 coming into tonight.
They have a lot of problems on offense, the Broncos. But then Steve Smith felt a little bad about what he said, so they went back to him again. Sure, because I'm sure he said, "Hey, I want to apologize for this and say something." So this is what he said after he just obliterates Jerry Jeudy.
You know, I don't know if Russ saw Jerry Jeudy on that. Did you see him?
Listen, this is a time for me where when I used to play, I would engage and I love that. But right now, I'm 44 years old. I don't need to have this drama, and I also don't need to have any problems on the sideline for me doing something that will jeopardize not just me, but him. And I'll be honest, and I have to say it just like this. One of the biggest problems we have in the media, especially as a young black man, is sometimes black on black crime. I'm not going to participate in that. I'm not going to engage where the national media can see two young African-American men acting like we ain't got no sense. He didn't like what I said, that's fine. I wanted to talk to him. He didn't like it, so we move on. But I'm one, I'm not going to lose my job, and two, I'm not going to disrespect my family by showing that I have not matured and handle my business the way I should handle my business. We got a flight to catch to London. We got things to do. We ain't got time to be watching a dude do nothing.
Okay, so wanted to apologize and talk about and say, hey, listen, we have a black on black crime problem, and then went on to criticize Judy again at the end.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an apology, but not at the end. Look, this whole thing is highly entertaining. Highly entertaining because Steve Smith is losing his mind here. But this is not about race. This is, you know what this is, Steve Smith? This is the media. Okay? I didn't invent, I'm going to go Jimmy Fallon for Almost Famous. I didn't invent the rainy day. I just have the biggest umbrella, right? Nobody invented hot takes being what sells in the media, but that's what does, right? Hot takes are every athlete, every person you see getting jobs in the media now the last 5 years, what do? I got to have a hot take. I got to get clicks, and I got to get on awful announcing every day. I got to make sure on awful announcing they're writing about me. Dan Orlovsky is obsessing with it. So is Stephen A. Smith. So are all the guys all the time. I got to say something because I got to get on. I got to get on.
Stephen A. needs
talking about me, right?
Like, yeah.
Because now you're seeing people in the media that are finding ways. I got to stay relevant. Now maybe some guys just stay relevant by talking about other people in the media.
Yeah.
Not even anything they say about sports. But I'm going to say this. This is the game. This is the game. This is what you do. This is the media. If you can't criticize a receiver and stay in bounds with it, because all Steve Smith said, hey, I talked about him being a jag and not being someone a tier 3 wide receiver. That is all fair game, man. That's it. But if that's too hot for you, don't be in the media. Don't be in the media because you can't be friends with the players and be someone who is critical at the same time, right? I get it. It's part of the whole, hey, the GM can't be buddy-buddy with the players. I may have to trade them, that we learned from Moneyball. But if you're in the media, your job is not to talk to the players. Your job is to tell the people watching what you think of what goes on. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes we love what happens with players and love things that they do and love the players they are. Sometimes we say, what is this guy doing? This guy's terrible for X, Y, and Z reasons. And if you keep it in bounds, meaning you don't get personal and you talk about what he is on the field, especially I'll listen to what Steve Smith has to say about a wide receiver, considering the guy was a pretty bleeping good one for the majority of his career. That's all in bounds. If you can't be part of that, if this is too tough for you, man, you got to leave the media. I'm sorry, because this is what it is. This is how it is. If you can't run with the big dogs, stay on the porch. Wow. This is how it is. This is how it goes.
It's a big clothing brand back in the day. I think I might have had a shirt that someone bought me.
I had Big Dog underwear. It was really cool.
Oh, there you go. See, look, there's a couple of things with this, right? Steve Smith, the reaction Judy gave is exactly what Steve Smith, the player, would have given. And I like that he was a little guy that was chippy and wanted to fight the world. And sometimes he actually went out into the world and fought a little bit. But I got to do a fantasy football book years ago, right before the ubiquitous online access to everything. So it was the equivalent of a football magazine. And they asked, hey, we'll get you one image for the cover. Who do you want? I'm like, Steve Smith. So the book has a picture of Steve Smith on it as he was becoming the breakout guy. But, he also recognized an opportunity. Like, there's two things with this. Is maybe with Judy, we don't know who the person was or people who contacted him, because I don't think it was suddenly a moment of quiet reflection and self-actualization and realization walking on the beach. Man, I was really too hard on Jerry Jeudy, and it's really put a stain on my soul. I don't buy that. So I want to know who talked to him, who asked him about it, whatever. Okay? But after that, it becomes an opportunity. Now I can be cold-blooded. And when he came back for him a second time, that was the key, right? You did it once, did your mic drop, cool. It goes viral, it's a moment. Then you decided to go full on, he's already down, he's busted up, I'm going to keep hammering him while they ring the bell, saying, stop, the Simpsons famous gif, he's already dead. So he circled back. Why? Because he knows it. He got a little bloodthirsty of, hey, we went viral with the first one. Because he knew that by the time he came back to the second one. Because I texted you after seeing it live going, wow, that was a pretty hefty takedown right there. And sure enough, when he came back and started to talk about it, gives you a little moment talking about, as he said, black on black crime, more, just back and forth in the media. Because it's been a litany of guys, right? Richard Sherman now going after C.D. Lamb, and everybody wants their pound of flesh. I've somehow survived on pragmatism. If I start throwing hot take, the wheel of hot takery up and just started ranting like an idiot, would I get an extra 0 on my salary? Is that how it works? Because some of the stuff that passes for, quote, information and content is stuff that people have never watched football and they're drawn up in a Hollywood writer's room. Like the J's of journalism are long gone in this arena. So don't kid yourselves.